Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to Quick Takes, where we chat with industry leaders, dentists, dental laboratory owners, and today, dental publishers about how they're weathering the crisis that we're all experiencing together and what they think we need to do to survive this, maybe even thrive after this. So this morning I have Pam Johnson, who's the founding editor of Inside Dental Technology, IDT magazine. You're all familiar with that, I'm sure. And Valerie Berger, who's the vice president of the laboratory division. So welcome, both of you. So nice to see your faces. So nice to see people, and welcome. So before we start getting into the meat of the conversation, I wanted to just ask you both how you're feeling physically, maybe even emotionally. How are you getting through this?
Okay, I'll start. Thanks for having us on, Bernie. It's really nice actually to see people's faces because we're so used to our industry is so close knit, and it's always nice to see people, and that's been taken away from us, and which is really unfortunate. I think that it's such a strange situation that we're going through, trying to make the best of it, trying to be optimistic and have establish somewhat of a routine each day. But really, it's just the unknown and trying to work our way through.
It's true. And
and thank you, Bernie, very much. This is great. And it's great to connect with the industry when we all can't be together. And as everyone knows, I'm a big hugger, and I can't do that anymore. So that's my biggest complaint. But I'm doing fine. And what I'm trying to do in my community is help out. I've been working at a food bank, trying to supply food to community members. And then, of course, I have my dog, and I'm with my dog walking buddies every day doing some exercise. So, but, this emotionally, this is going to be, I think, difficult for everyone because it's not going to be something that is quickly forgotten. And so the closeness that we've had for all these years may have to be closeness in words, gestures, that sort of thing.
I'm with you on that, and I can feel the emotional, how we bear the emotional side of this, because I do. I know it's affected me in some way. Just put me off kilter, really. But anyway, glad you both are okay, at least. So we all have to hang in. So one of my first questions to you about the industry is how publishing media is providing effective messaging, because that is probably the only thing we have today. And I think most companies are participating, or many companies anyway, are participating by providing CE online. I know Whitmix is, and we're proud and happy to do it. But what about the publishing side? What's your response to that, the messaging part?
Yeah, something like this doesn't work well for print because everything changes so rapidly. And so for publishers, I think it's really incumbent to use online media, whether it's social media, emails, this type of thing, webinars, in order to communicate all the changes that are happening and keep people informed short term. I know that, for example, out of the 4 posts that we're going to be posting today on our Facebook page, 3 of them are about coronavirus. They're either talking to a lab owner, getting comments from them, or updates. But print has a very, very important role here, and that is the long-term, forward-thinking, visionary sort of perspective to help people during the recovery, and what to expect and how to go about it. So I think that we combine those two or all of those to help our readers.
A good It's a good answer. It's true. Well, we know that a lot of people are providing CE, and as I said, Whitmix is doing the same, quite a bit of it, more than we normally do. In addition to our normal webinars and blogs and e-blasts and all of that, we also have a 3 times a week technical training, actually digital training webinars that are, of course, sent out to the industry. They're packed full. We have no more seats in them. People have signed up for I think there's 15 of them, and we do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. But having said all that, so this is all increased by us, but I'm sure by a lot of other companies. The question is, you think the trend will continue that way once we kind of get back to normal? And if not, how will it manifest itself? You know, in what way will it be different?
Yeah, and we are seeing a spike on online CE, and I foresee that it will continue to rise. We have a CDE World is our educational platform, and we currently have 5,200 lab members and 120,000 dentists. I mean, last year we had about 700 tests taken by the lab members. And so it's always been strong, but I think that this opened up an opportunity where people are looking for education, they're looking for information. And so I foresee that this will continue to be a trend. And now that people are familiar with going to webinars and doing the Zoom chats, and so many companies are offering CE. We're trying to do some education ongoing as well. It's a great opportunity for people to help each other learn while in our downtime.
It is, absolutely. I think technicians and lab owners would be kind of foolish to waste this time, you know, if they're not working, if they're literally home watching TV. This is a good way to increase your value, your worth, to your employer and to the industry, you know, at large. So I agree with that. So now here's a big one. How do you see the industry after we get back to work, after this COVID-19 nightmare is over? How many labs won't make it? And of course, nobody knows this, but will we lose a number of laboratories, dental offices? That's a good question. So in general, and this is a toughie, what is the landscape going to look like in a few months, let's say? Let's hope in a few months.
You know, Bernie, if I had the answer to that, I'd be the CEO of, or I would be someone higher up on the food chain.
I get it. It's a big question, but I'm just curious about what you think is going to happen. We're not holding you.
Yeah. Well, you know, this industry has been so resilient. You know, I mean, we went from, you know, analog to digital. Then no sooner had we done that, then we got hit by the recession, and that really caused a huge attrition in terms of the numbers of labs. And now, of course, this situation, which is not only financial, but it's also a health situation. And I think there will be attrition, but you know, this is also dependent on the action that's going to be taken. You know, will we have a vaccine? Will we have the testing capabilities? All of these things that have to be in place before we can really get back to business, in particular in the dental office, because they're at the you know, the transmission of the disease is from the oral cavity and the nasal cavity. So what will the landscape look like? I think that since we came out of the 2008 recession, we became a smaller but a much stronger industry. And so I don't see that kind of attrition. But I do see that laboratories and dentists are going to have to change their operational procedures. They have to, certainly for the short term, if and when we can get back to some sort of normalcy, but maybe for the long term too. We changed a lot since 9/11, and this may be another one of those 9/11 events.
I think it will be. I talked to Bennett about this, and one of the things that he said, which I hadn't thought of, but seems to be really pertinent, is the fact that dentists may have a lot of trouble getting patients back into the
Oh
chair
yeah.
because of the fear of, there's spray everywhere and all that. And, he suggests that there's a place for labs to work with their dentist accounts to develop the right kind of messaging in order to make patients feel more comfortable and come back, because it's trickled down. Let's face it, patients don't go to dentists, dentists don't send work to labs, etc., all the way through suppliers and manufacturers. So yeah, it's a picture that could be bleak, but I think that because of who we are, and you're right, the industry has weathered some other storms in the past and is made up of some very amazing, wonderful people. So I think you're right. We will survive it, just in a different way.
Yeah,
So
I think so. And I was thinking about this, and it may be that this is going to be a real eye opener for dentists in terms of technology that keeps them out of the mouth and
yes,
away from the patient,
yeah,
and to help. It also means that patients may not be as willing to come in 3, 4, 5 different times. They want solutions that are uh, single visit solutions, certainly 2-visit solutions, so that they're not exposed.
well said. I think you're absolutely right. Well, Valerie, I have one last question for you. I think you might be the one to answer this. What do you think the impact will be on trade shows? Because obviously that's where a lot of people get together and cluster together, and that I'm sure they'll be affected. What do you think?
Yeah, that's right, because our industry is such, as Pam said, she's a hugger, I'm a hugger. And going
Yeah,
into these large environments we're so unsure what's happening right now. So even when the shelter at home is lifted, are we going to be that anxious to get on a plane and stay in a hotel?
right.
Um, I feel eventually we'll get there. I really do. I do feel that there's a trend in virtual trade shows, educational formats. I can't see trade shows going away. Once people have confidence in getting out and being a part of the world again, I do think that we'll see that pick up. But it's unfortunate for now, but again, we can connect visually and support each other, and so that's what I see. I do think that we will get back into trade shows, but I do see a trend in virtual trade shows as well.
Well, I hope you're right that it'll get back, and sooner than later, because that's such an important part of our lives.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much. This has been a lot of fun. I wish it could go on longer, but we're restricted a little bit by where we put this and what platforms we put it on. But I really want to thank you for joining me and chatting. And what's especially great is seeing you both again. So thank
Well,
Thanks,
thank you,
Bernie.
Bernie.
Be well.
Yeah, stay safe.
you too. Stay healthy. We'll
Okay.
see you guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.